Yes, isn't that a beautiful song? Go inside and find my God. And that's what it really is. It's about finding God, knowing that God is love. And I feel the love that all of you have extended here this morning. Thank yourself for that, because you have shared what we have been brought here, or what we have decided to come here on this planet Earth. I call it Earth School. For those of you who go to my group, this is Earth School. This is where we learn all kinds of things. So let me ask you something. What's in your cup? What's in your cup this morning? Is it coffee? I prefer tea myself. It's the same thing. You know, we can fill our cup with anything. Life gives us this cup to fill with whatever we choose. And yes, sometimes we don't respond the way that the God inside us would like us to. Because like I said to someone this morning, hey, we're all walking this earth, right? We are all walking this earth as humans, looking, or not looking, but reaching inward to find the God within us. And that's what helps us to fill the cup with something greater than the blanks, blanks. Although that does happen to us sometimes, right? Because when we're in the moment, sometimes we're like, shoot, what just happened? But see, the thing is, with this cup that we have all been given, which of course is metaphorical, it can always be refilled. We can always spill it out or pour it out without having someone who bump into us. Because it is true, we are here, we have come here with a divine purpose. We've all made a choice to be here because we want to walk this path to find that greater part of us that is God. And yet, because we were also standing on this ground, we get swayed sometimes. It's so easy. We see so many things out here. But I love what Daniel Nahmod said, or sang to us. Let us leave life the way it is. Because life is going to continue, life is going to move, life is going to be what it is. But we have a choice to make it what we want. We have that choice. I know as children, we didn't know we had choices, right? Our parents told us to do something, we better do it.
No way.
And even if we, I know I'm speaking for myself, but even if I felt differently, I did not dare to voice that opinion. And so when I got older, on my own, I made up for it. Rebellious, did my own thing. I'm still rebellious. So whatever it is that we are reaching inward for, just remember that life is about choices. I know I spoke about this yesterday in the group. But we have come to these choices by everything we have learned since the time we were born. We have picked up nuances and things from people like our parents to start with, the environment. We have been taught how to react to certain things. But at some point, we have made a decision to maybe try something different. We have been introduced to something that can help make those changes that we really want to make. And sometimes we don't know we want to make those changes, but we do. Because there's something much greater inside of us, our soul, our spirit, God, that is pushing us. You ever notice that? You don't want to do something, but something inside you, like your intuition, we've spoken about that. Your intuition is saying something different. And maybe at some point, when we realize our life isn't working the way it's working, although we can leave it the way it is, but we can create the kind of changes because we have that power. We have the power of choice. Because I know none of us are the same today as we were, say, when we were kids. Right? Anybody the same? No, see? Nobody. I'll tell you what. Because we're on this earth, even though we have a sense of what's probably the better choice, sometimes when we're in the moment, we don't recognize that. Especially when we're younger. When we're younger, we're more reactive. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something, but I don't want you to tell anybody. It came to me last night when I was in meditation and preparing for today. When I was in 6th grade, after recess, all the kids, you know how we run to the class and line up in front of the door and wait for the teacher to come in to open the door and let us in. Well, I was pushed in the interim by accident, and so I accidentally stepped on one of my classmates' clean white tennis shoes. And without thinking, she hauled off and hit me in the face. And I didn't say, oh, that's okay. I hit her back. I had to laugh at myself. I was, oh my gosh. I hit her back, and next thing you know, we're in this fight. Teacher comes, breaks it up, takes us to the principal's office. And on the way there, she says, oh, it was my fault. It was my fault. Regina accidentally stepped, on my shoes. I know she was pushed, but it was just a reaction. And the teacher said, no, it's both of you. So we went to the principal's office, and he said, it's both of you. You're both in trouble. And of course, I felt like a victim. Like, what do you mean? But lesson learned. But see how we just react? And it's instinctual. But see, we are looking for moving beyond. I mean, we need our instincts, but we also need our intuition to guide us, to balance that out. So our instinct is about survival. It's more about survival. Intuition is also survival, but on a more higher level of consciousness. That's God within us. And so had I been, a few years older, maybe I would have thought a little bit better. Anyway, the end of the story is I moved away, so I didn't see her, and we didn't have any animosity after that. But she moved to where I moved and ended up in the same high school. We saw each other, even though we were younger, we recognized each other, and we just started cracking up. No words, it was like, remember? So see, you never know, be careful who you hit, because you might run into them. They may not always be as nice. But thank you for keeping my secret. All that to say, allow our humanness. Forgive ourselves for those moments where we fall short. And what is falling short, really? We are just being who we are. Accept who we are. But allow ourselves to grow from those. We grow as we go. And there, life is ebbs and tides. Just when you think you have it all together, okay, say I'm ready, I got dressed up for church, and Natalie comes up and bumps me, and by the way, I'm holding a cup of tea. She bumps into me, and it's all over my white dress, right? How am I going to react today? Natalie says, don't hit me. Good point, touche. I wouldn't hit her today. Today I would say, it's okay, we'll figure something out. But see, that's where the growth is. And part of it is growing from childhood into adulthood. But sometimes we can still become that child. And in some ways, it's fantastic. I encourage all of us to keep that childlike innocence. Right? I don't want to be grown up all the time. Ask Dawn. Sometimes I'm goofy as heck. And that's okay. You know, I accept myself the way I am. How about you? You accept the way you are? Thank you. Thank you. And that's where it begins. Accepting who we are right now in this moment. Even if later today we feel like we may have made a mistake or wasn't, like you come here and you know you've got your spiritual warfare on, and I shouldn't say warfare, but you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Gosh, I don't know where that came from, but I forgive myself. But then later on something happens, because you know it's easy to be at peace when everything's going smoothly and just peacefully. It's so easy to be in your practice, in your spiritual practice. But then something happens. How are we going to react? Or are we going to choose to respond? See, responding is a little different, as you know. Responding is when we are conscious enough that we think before we speak, or think before we do something. And that takes practice, daily practice. Because I'm telling you, the more we know, the more there is to know. The more we feel we have it all together, it's just a beginning. See, everything that we do, every moment, every day, is a new beginning. Especially when we learn to live in the now, in this moment. Forget about yesterday, in the sense that whatever we might have felt, oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda done that. I know raising my child, I used to say whenever he would, you know, teenagers, they mess up sometimes. Not that we ever did outside that fight, but, you know, I used to just say, and I still say it today for myself and anyone, yesterday or what happened already happened. Where we go from here is what's important. Where do we go from here? And I understand when we're moving through a process of coming back to our authentic, our higher self, there are going to be things that we may need to heal. Or in the words of Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of religious science, what we need to reveal. Because really there's no healing, even though we call it that. We're simply revealing the truth of who we are. And so there are those moments, while I encourage us not to dwell on the past because it doesn't serve us, but sometimes we need to look at some of those things when they come up, by the way. Sometimes we'll get a thought out of nowhere, and we're like, I don't think about that. Well, maybe our guidance, God, our soul, is asking us to take a look and maybe to forgive ourselves, maybe to heal. You see, sometimes we don't know where we're going unless we know where we've been. You ever wondered why sometimes we react or respond the way we do? It's from something that has triggered us in the past. It's, for instance, if you've been in some relationship or friendship where things didn't work out. And so you're getting all of these feelings. Yes, it's the friendship or whatever friction there is, but there was something in your past. So see, one of the things about being in this spiritual journey is we are asked to be mindful and aware and observe ourselves, observe our life around us. Be present. And when we notice these things, when we're paying attention to them, when we're focused on them, those things will come to light, and we can forgive, we can shed light on it, we can shed love on it. Because they do say love heals all, because love is God. See, we are more powerful than we think we are. We are more than just mere human beings. Can you get that? I remember when I first learned that, I'm like, really? I mean, I always felt something inside of me that was God. But I came from a very strict and disciplined religion, which I'm very grateful that I had that experience. But for some reason, it wasn't resonating with me anymore. So I made a choice to leave. I don't know if I did that consciously or subconsciously, but I remember thinking, I'm doing all the right things, but I don't feel right. I don't feel like myself. So obviously that was God. That's something speaking through me, even if I wasn't aware of it, because I was told, you don't go to church anymore. God is not with you. How many have been told that? Yes. Thank you. God is already a part of us. But I wasn't taught that. But yet I knew there was something, because I was a single mother, and I know I couldn't have done all that by myself. I know all of us have had some kind of challenge that we wonder, how did I get through that? Because we're sitting here, right? We're sitting here. But see, one of the things is because I believe and we believe in our oneness, we are all here sharing our love with each other. This is how we support each other. That is why we are here, I believe, to share our gifts, to be present for one another, support each other. Because guess what? As I look at all of you, I am you. You are me. How do you feel about that? Yeah. See, when we look into each other's eyes, we see our soul, the depth of who we are. And so let us be that presence for each other. Let us understand those moments within ourselves and those around us who we maybe feel like, we don't want to go into judgment, but let's face it, sometimes we do. But even when we do, when we practice living in the moment, when we do our spiritual practice, we become more aware. Because you see, when we're judging someone else, we're really judging ourselves. Ouch. Right? Because we're seeing with our eyes, we're seeing with our conditioning. And at the same time, when you get a compliment or you compliment someone else, that compliment is also within us. Because you see, we cannot see on others what we don't have within ourselves. How would we know what it looked like? How would we really know? But see, most of this stuff that we do subconsciously, we don't know. But see, that's why we are asked to become more conscious, more aware. Be mindful of what we're doing. Because that way more of our subconscious will come forward and we can look at it and heal it. And again, reveal the truth of who we really are. See, we continue to grow. We continue to learn the lessons. And again, as I mentioned, life is about ebbs and flows, and we're doing really good right in this moment. Yay, I'm good, I'm happy. And then something happens. And that's where we get rattled. That's where we think, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. And sometimes we go back into victimhood. We all do it, myself included. But when we practice, we come back to center quicker. See, that's the beauty. The beauty of life, ultimately, is that we are here. There's beauty in everything if we care to look. If we start looking more with our internal eye than our outer eye. Because we can sit here all day and just talk about everything going on in the world. And yes, we're in this world. And it's good to kind of know what's going on so we can do our prayer work. That's why any of you who were here for the meditation, I asked you to send your love somewhere in the world. Because truly, I know we believe it. What we're doing here this morning, this energy, this vibration that we're creating, spills out of our cup. It spills out into the ethers, into the universe, and touches everyone. And we've seen those things. Whenever there's a catastrophe or a tsunami or something, don't we feel that? We want to help. We pray for those people. You know, whatever's going on like that, it touches us. There's no getting out of this world. I mean, we can close our eyes, but we can still feel it, whether it's conscious or unconscious or subconscious. So let us do our part and fill our cup, or refill it and refill it with the things that raise our love, our light. Because honestly, we are simply light beings. I love this. I am the light of the world. Keep saying that. See, affirmations are beautiful because, not only because, even if you don't feel it right away, you will, but because whatever we say, whatever we think, our bodies respond. There's that saying, where the mind goes, the body follows. So when we're thinking or saying beautiful things, affirmations like this, it starts in the mind, we're reading it, we're getting it, but it filters down. There's a coherence then between our mind and our heart. And that's what we really want. You know, I think life is so interesting and mysterious. I don't know, I've always loved mysteries. How about you? Mysteries are so amazing. And if we're not sure if we like mysteries, what kind of books did you like to read when you were younger? Mine were mystery books and cookbooks. But the mystery of life is so beautiful. There's so much to be revealed, so much to unfold. And it is unfolding through us and as us. I know someone posted something on Facebook about the 70s the other day. How we used to look back then, you know, the big hair and then the hippie movement, whatever. I thought it was so great. But because, you know, from that, we continue to grow. There were so many things that we did as children that we are more careful today about not doing. We've been to the park and they had all those dangerous things to play on. And we survived it. But today, and for years now, I've seen the consciousness change. We've all seen it change to where they are more careful about designing these things so children don't get hurt. You hear what I'm saying? And we've seen so many changes in the world that have come forth because all of us have wanted something different. Recognize that whatever we have thought about what we would like to see in the world, what we would like to see in ourselves, it's moving. That energy is moving throughout the globe, throughout the universe. I know some of you are familiar with Greg Braden. I know he's a beautiful guy. He's a scientist, and I remember listening to him years ago. And he talked about the universe, how the galaxies are expanding. And he talks about the fact that we are helping to create that. Our energy is expanding. And I know I said yesterday, you know, who was here when we thought Pluto was the furthest planet? Right? That was it. Pluto. But look what we have today. We have just expanded. But see, that's how life is. And we are expanding. We are growing. Nothing stops growth. Nothing. If you look outside, you can see plants growing through the cement or asphalt. You would think once you pave the road, nothing would grow. It finds a way. Life finds a way. I look out in nature and I see cactus sitting next to a fence, one of those chain link fences, growing through the openings. I find nature fascinating. You know, the more we look at nature, we will begin to understand more of our own nature. Why? Because we're made of the same stuff. Same stuff. God's substance. Just different form. But we are part of all that exists. And so that's why tapping into the love that we are is so important. Because when we do and fill our cup with love, we fill our cup with kindness, we fill our cup with harmony, peace, all those things. Self-love. Let's begin with self-love. When we do that, we become more, not only authentic, we become more compassionate, more understanding, more willing to be present for everyone else. Does that make sense? And it starts with our relationship with ourselves. That's why I say self-love is very important. And this is something I had to learn because I don't know about you, but we were always taught to do for others before we do for ourselves. And sometimes, and I've done it, I did more for other people and I didn't even know who I was anymore. So from that space, though, even though I can look at it and say I was a victim in that area, but from that space, I dumped out the cup and filled it with something else. Or let me say, I was guided to fill it with something else. And how wonderful is that? How grateful I am. I had no clue that I would be doing this. It was not something I aspired to. As a matter of fact, I resisted it for about 3 years. Finally, I just said, okay, I surrender. I guess this is what I'm supposed to do, so I'm going to do it. And you know what? I'm so grateful to do it. To be in a place of love. You know, because I understand deeply that it isn't just about me being up here. It's about sharing and embracing all of you and all of you in Facebook, recognizing our oneness and that we are here to share our gifts with each other, whatever they may be. So I really invite us to look at our choices. Look at what we're choosing to put in our cup. And it's okay to spill it out or to empty it sometimes. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes having an empty cup, when we empty ourselves of everything, move into meditation or in a quiet space and just allow ourselves to be without trying to think or trying to even outline or vision, or not that I don't believe in visioning for your life, but sometimes it's just about being. Haven't you ever felt that way sometimes? You just want to go home and not think, not do anything, just be. And I know a lot of us may have been trained, you can't be doing that. You're just being lazy, right? If you're not doing anything, you're not. That's how I was. You got to be doing something. I am. I'm sitting here doing nothing. That's something. Accept that. It's okay to do that. We need to do that. To recharge. We need to do that. I invite you to do that. Put yourself out in nature when it's not so hot. Or early in the morning, which I don't do, like 6 and whatever. That's a little early for me. So I'll be honest, but don't tell anybody again. But you see, we are at choice. What works for us? And also, the choices we make, even when we hear others give us sound advice or wisdom, only take it if it resonates with us, with you personally. Even what I say here today. Because all I'm really doing and all I have ever done is shared food for thought. I will never tell you what I think you should do. Ever. And that comes from my having been told, I always went to church, all the things that I have to do, should. So I promised myself that I would not do that in my ministry. Because we're all on our own journey, right? We're all different. We have different gifts. We have our own way of being. The only thing I ask you and invite you to be is yourself. Just be authentic. You know what? Being who you are is just fine. We don't have to pretend to be anything else. Because the truth as I see it, when we try to be something else, people know anyway. Because sometimes knowing who you are speaks much louder than what you say you are. Allow yourself to feel the love that you are. Be present for that. No matter what we've been told. No matter what we've been told. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Because I am different than what I was told I had to be. So God bless you all. I thank you so much. Namaste. So in this space of love and self-love, I invite you to close your eyes and simply be in this moment. This moment of peace. This moment of self-recognition. Self-love. Feel that God presence within you now, vibrating. Allow yourself to be open to it. Feel it. Feel the beauty that you are. For there is only beauty and love. Embrace yourself and accept yourself just for who you are. For we all accept each other for exactly who we are. And in this moment, simply recognize your presence here makes a difference for us all. How we express ourselves in the world makes a difference. Allow yourself to feel the oneness in which we all are a part of. There is no separation. And as we are in the silence, allow yourself to simply feel, see, or hear anything that is coming through you right now. And just take a moment in silence to invite that in with love. Give thanks for what you have been given, knowing that divine order is always present, always guiding us. And as we move through the day, we remember who we are. We remember to fill our cup with those things that uplift our spirit, uplifts not only our spirit, but those around us. And even when we feel spilled the coffee or tea or whatever is in your cup, it's okay. We can always replace it. So I simply invite you to embrace yourself as I embrace myself, knowing that we are perfect right where we are in this moment. And so simply allow us to be giving thanks always, living in gratitude for everything. And allow these words to just move through you. Allow your feelings just to move through you. Accept them as part of who you are. And allow it to guide your day. Always into the beauty of who you are, into the beauty of life. And so it is.